Poirier. Ever since Poirier called out Chandler for cheating during their UFC 281 fight in 2022, Poirier has been very vocal about his frustrations with Chandler. However, recently Poirier revealed that he actually likes watching Chandler fight. Poirier also told RG3 a few weeks ago that he believes Chandler has a fake personality and that he's a cheater who refuses to admit it. Before we continue, make sure to leave a like on the video to support the channel. Ahead of his upcoming fight with Paddy Pimblett, Michael Chandler spoke with Shaq MMA about a range of topics, including Dustin Poirier. Although Poirier doesn't have any love for Chandler, the beef isn't mutual. Chandler respects Poirier a lot, calling him an absolute legend. Chandler explained that Poirier has really earned his place in the UFC, having paid his dues through both wins and losses. Chandler believes Poirier's legacy is solid, and it'll be tough for fans to watch him retire, especially if he lays the gloves down in New Orleans this summer. Chandler even said he plans to attend the fight if it happens, although there's no word yet on who Poirier will fight in his retirement bout or when it will take place. Beneil Dariush recently mentioned on Submission Radio that he's hearing a Poirier vs. Holloway trilogy fight could be in the works. Earlier in February, Poirier told Theo that talks about fighting this summer in New Orleans were happening, but nothing was confirmed yet. What are your thoughts on Dustin Poirier versus Max Holloway? Is it a fight you're interested in seeing? Let us know in the comments below. Next up, Justin Gaethje is calling for a UFC title fight again. After his win over Rafael Fiziev at UFC 313, Gaethje took to social media and sent a message to Dana White and the UFC, saying he deserves a title shot. Gaethje's post, which was written in a way that made some fans believe it was his manager Ali Abdelaziz posting for him, emphasized that Gaethje has won 3 of his last 4 fights, with his only loss being an exhibition fight. Heading into UFC 313, Gaethje wasn't sure if a win over Fiziev would make him the #1 contender, but after his victory, he's confident he deserves the next title shot. However, Arman Tsarukyan, speaking in an interview with DMO, doesn't think it's fair for Gaethje to get the next title shot. Recently, Islam Makhachev also expressed interest in fighting Gaethje next, which has created a lot of potential matchups in the lightweight division. Fighters like Arman Tsarukyan, Charles Oliveira, Justin Gaethje, and now Ilia Topuria are all vying for a title shot, but none of them have a fight booked. It'll be interesting to see who the UFC decides to give the title shot to next. Fiziev appeared on the Ariel Helwani show and expressed support for Gaethje, saying that if a fight between Gaethje and Makhachev happens, he's rooting for Gaethje. Fiziev believes Gaethje deserves the title shot more than anyone else in the division, and feels Gaethje should have gotten a chance at the title even before his loss to Max Holloway. As for Fiziev, following his second loss to Gaethje, he's thinking about a potential weight class change. He mentioned he's been considering moving down to 145 pounds because making weight hasn't been difficult for him, and he believes he'd cause problems in the division. With a new champion about to be crowned at 145, this could be an exciting move for Fiziev.
That was an illegal knee on the head of a grounded opponent. Shut up, Joe, you little fool, you. What are you talking about? Smash this and smash that. What was smashed? My knee into his eye socket, yeah? Shake. That's a knee to a grounded opponent. Call the cops. Ticket.
After all of that, Joe Rogan made comments about Conor McGregor's PED use after he broke his leg. Conor McGregor then attacked Rogan on social media for never fighting in the UFC and only being in taekwondo competitions while accusing him of PED use as well, which is strange, considering Rogan has openly discussed his TRT therapy on the show, so it will be interesting to see how this situation plays out.
It sounds like you're in love with Conor McGregor here. Oh, beautiful. And I'll be straight with you. From what I heard, he's actually out there right now.
Alex P. won't last at heavyweight, according to Daniel Cormier. This past weekend, Magomed Ankalaev captured UFC gold with a decision win over Alex P., bringing an end to P's light heavyweight reign. With P focused on getting his belt back, it sounds like talks about a potential move to heavyweight have been put on the back burner for now. The way Daniel Cormier sees things, he believes P would have a tough time at heavyweight. During the latest episode of Good Guy Bad Guy with CH Sunan, he said that if Ankalaev's pressure was too much for him, then the pressure from heavyweights would be overwhelming. Cormier added that he doesn't think P is strong enough to deal with bigger opponents. The amount of pressure Ankalaev was able to generate without much danger coming back at him, Cormier thinks heavyweights would just walk through what P was throwing at him. While some fans weren't happy with Ankalaev's clinch-heavy game plan, Kamaru Usman placed the blame on P. During the latest episode of his and Henry Cejudo's pound-for-pound show, Usman said, "I'm not angry about the 3-2 decision for Ankalaev, but I think in that fifth round Alex P did come out with more urgency. He looked like he was trying to fight and finish the fight, but Ankalaev would push him against the fence and wear him down again. It's your job to get off the fence. If you're not doing that, why would the refs save you?" Henry Cejudo, on the other hand, believes P's rock star lifestyle finally caught up with him. He said, "I think Alex P's lifestyle is finally catching up to him. The travel, the shenanigans, a lot of the stuff he's doing is really not helping him. The only reason I say this is because his body looked different. He looked a little pudgier, a little thicker in the face going in." Cejudo credited Ankalaev for his composure, saying that Ankalaev didn't react to P's moves and kept his hands up the entire time. It's also important to note that P has had trouble with southpaws. Given how long P reigned over the division, Dana White has already confirmed he'll be getting an immediate rematch following Ankalaev's victory at UFC 313. Ankalaev seemed very impressed with his performance and said, "I just rewatched my fight again. 20 minutes of this fight was all striking, and most of that time I was the one putting the pressure. The game plan was to use wrestling to open the striking, and I landed the hardest shots. I landed more significant strikes. Are you interested in seeing this rematch?" As for P, he seems to be in good spirits following his loss, continuously posting videos of him dancing and enjoying life the way it should be. Next, Hamza Chimaev talks about his toughest fight in the UFC. Chimaev has absolutely dominated some of his opponents in the octagon, with 5 of his 8 wins in the UFC coming in the very first round. John Phillips, Gilbert Burns, and Kamaru Usman were all able to make it out of the first round, with both the Burns and Usman fights going to a decision. During an interview with Azamat Chef, Chimaev was asked who his toughest opponent has been. He said, "Probably it was Usman. He defended my wrestling very well. His wrestling is good. He defended my takedowns well. He didn't let me choke his neck. I tried to choke him for 5 minutes, but his defense was too good." Chimaev went 4 for 2 on takedown attempts while racking up over 7 minutes of control time in that fight. But as he mentioned, he wasn't able to secure a submission. Since Chimaev's win over Robert Whittaker back in October and his victory over Sean Strickland in February, there's been no real word on when a Chimaev versus DDP fight may happen. However, all signs point to Chimaev being next in line for a title fight. As for Leon Edwards, he's still interested in fighting Belal Muhammad. Despite Muhammad thinking that Edwards needs to wait 3 more years before getting another crack at the belt, Edwards is confident that he'll get his shot after Jack de Milena and Shavkat Rakhmonov, as long as he gets the win. Ahead of his fight with Brady in London, Edwards spoke about a potential rematch with Belal Muhammad during a new video for his YouTube channel. In it, he chalked his UFC 304 loss up to an off night and said that he needs to avenge that loss.
I love to run it back with Bilal. You know, I feel like it's difficult to say he wins. Like I said, I probably prefer Bilal because he was the last guy to defeat me. You know, and even though I had a off night, I feel like that's one I need to get back. You know, I truly believe that I'm the better fighter between me and him, and go out there and prove it again. But now I'm focusing on Sean. Focusing on Sean Brady right now, and I gotta go out there in London, get rid of him, and then once I get rid of him, then Tarsha is next to me.
After the fight between Muhammad and JDM at UFC 315 in May, Dana White mentioned in an Instagram live stream that the winner is likely to face a title shot. However, there's uncertainty about where Leon Edwards fits in the welterweight title picture after next weekend's fight. If JDM wins at UFC 315, Ariel Helwani has speculated that Islam Makhachev may move up to welterweight to fight JDM. Makhachev has expressed his desire to become a double champion, but has also made it clear that he won't fight Belal Muhammad out of respect, since they are training partners. This situation mirrors what happened with Aljamain Sterling, who didn't want to fight Merab Dvalishvili for the same reasons. If Islam moves up to welterweight, it could create complications for the lightweight division, especially since many fighters are vying for a shot at the belt. If Belal Muhammad defeats Shavkat, he could be booked for a title fight sometime in late 2025 or early 2026, depending on Shavkat's recovery from injuries. In the meantime, a title shot for Leon Edwards could be over a year away. This raises the question of whether it's worth waiting for a title opportunity. In other news, Dan Hooker posted an update on his hand surgery after being forced out of his UFC 313 fight with Justin Gaethje due to a broken hand. Hooker shared a post-surgery update showing his surgical wound after the removal of his protective cast. While his recovery is ongoing, Hooker is already calling for a fight during International Fight Week in June. He suggested a fight against Arman Tsarukyan, with whom he has exchanged words online since his injury. Another potential opponent, Beneil Dariush, has also expressed interest in facing Hooker during that time. Considering Hooker's history of earning performance bonuses, fans would likely be excited about his return this summer. Meanwhile, Ryan Garcia joked about Dana White's new boxing league. During an interview with Theo, Garcia questioned the potential success of White's league, particularly if the fighter pay is just a small fraction of the revenue, suggesting the league might struggle to get off the ground.